Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be looking at another shield, and this one is called the Stormshield. The Stormshield is the unique Monarch shield, and it is quite amazing, to be honest. It is a very, very sexy shield, useful for both paladins and non-paladins. As we go over it, I think you'll find that you'll probably fall in love with it too for certain characters. The Stormshield Monarch Shield has a very nice defense of 490, which does vary a little bit based on character level and things like that. It can go as high as, I believe, 519 and as low as 504. It does have a very nice chance to block, but it does vary depending on the character. So for Paladins, it is 77%. For Amazon, Assassin, and Barbarian, it is 72%. And for Druid, Necromancer, and Sorceress, it is 67%. This will be visually represented for those specific characters when they are holding the shield. Obviously, I'm on a Paladin right now, so that has my specific block chance. We also have a smite damage of 12 to 34. This is an elite shield, so that is the highest that it can go. It has a strength requirement of 156, which is the same as any Stormshield Monarch shield, by the way. It also has a level requirement of 73, so this is a particularly high level end game sort of an item. It is indestructible, which means that it cannot be found in its ethereal form, and this also means that it's not going to break, so don't have to worry about a repair cost. 35% faster block rate, of course, affects the numbers that I was telling you earlier. The 25% increased chance of blocking. So it is going to obviously block faster, and it has a higher block chance than your average Monarch shield. The defense based on character level is 3.75 per character level, so it does vary by quite a bit. Obviously, the lowest that you can possibly equip this shield is level 73, so that is going to determine the lowest value that you can get on the strength, on the defense. It has 30 strength on it, which is massive. So once you get up to 156 to equip the shield, it's going to give you another 36 or 30 on top of the 156. So you're going to end up at what? 56, 66, 76, 86. So 186 just for wearing the shield, which is not bad. It also has resistances, which is actually pretty sweet. It has 60% cold resistance, which is a pretty massive bump to your cold. It also has a lightning resistance of 25%, not exactly the most amazing, but pretty sweet. And then it has a massive, and I mean absolutely massive, 35% physical damage reduction. Now, physical damage reduction is pretty sweet to help keep you alive in melee encounters. And basically what it does is any damage that comes in that is of a physical orientation, it acts as a resistance, just the same way that fire resistance or cold resistance works. And it can cap out at 50%, but you can overprotect yourself versus things like amplify damage, which will reduce your physical resistance. And 35% is literally almost at the cap already. I mean, if you consider 50% as the cap, obviously 50 minus 35% is not much further to go. I mean, you've got what? Add another 10%, you're at 45%. Add 15%, you're at 50, which means that if you were to pair this up with something as simple as a string of ears, which has 15%, you would be at the 50% cap very, very easily. Another thing about this shield is that just about any character can use it, obviously, since it's not a paladin-only shield, which means you could throw this on a sorceress for an easy 35% physical damage reduction. You could throw this on like a Amazon, a Lightning Fury Amazon. You could put it on a barbarian for a 35% physical damage reduction. The physical damage reduction on this shield is its main draw. That is the reason why people come to this shield, because it is a very tanky and very amazing shield, specifically for the purposes of keeping your characters alive. In fact, if you were to pair this up with a string of ears and a shaft stop, you could very easily get your character well over the 50% cap and provide yourself a little bit of overprotection. Now, you might be asking me, what exactly is overprotection? So basically how it works is that when amplify damage hits you, it's going to strip away your physical resistance. If you do not have any physical damage reduction, it's going to reduce your 0% physical damage reduction to negative 100, which means that you will take essentially double damage from all physical damage that comes in. If you have 50% physical damage reduction and somebody curses you with amplify damage, it will still reduce your physical damage or physical resistance by 100%. But because you're at 50, 100% minus 50 means you will be at negative 50. So you won't take 100% extra damage, you'll only take 50% extra damage, which is better. However, if you want to protect yourself fully from amplify damage, you would need a massive amount of physical damage reduction over protection. You would need literally 150%, because that would protect you completely from amplify damage and would also keep you at the 50% cap regardless of whether you were cursed or not. And to get to the 150% number for full overprotection, you're going to need items like the Stormshield, Monarch Shield. It is very difficult to hit the 150% number, and you are going to have to use things like Stormshield, Shaft Stop, which is already going to be, what, 65%? So not bad. And then you're going to have to tag in other items to hit yourself even higher. Now, overprotection is not super duper duper important. I don't usually recommend building specifically to the 150% limit, but going over the 50% cap is not a bad thing. Amplified damage is one of the most common curses in the entire Diablo 2 franchise. You will encounter cursed monsters on a regular basis everywhere you go. And when you are cursed with amplified damage, it's gonna hurt. So having a little bit of overprotection is not a bad thing. A lot of people like to say that too much physical damage reduction is a waste, and I poo-poo straight on their head, just right on their head, because it's a lie. Because amplified damage is so common and so ridiculously powerful that having a little bit of overprotection is not a bad thing and is actually a very good thing, because the majority of the time you are cursed with amplified damage, and it lasts for frickin' forever. And unless you're a paladin who has cleansing or a assassin who is using fade, you're not going to be able to remove that curse from yourself, and you're just going to have to deal with it. Either that or run back to town every 5 minutes and talk to Mala and hope she cures you of your curse and move on with your day. Now, where do you find yourself a Stormshield Monarch? I think that's kind of one of the most important things here. The Stormshield Monarch Shield is definitely something that is well sought after, and I feel like we need to go over where you could potentially find it. It's probably not a easy find, but this is an endgame item. So what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that we are a high-level character, probably a level 80 plus. We're probably built for Magic Find, so I'm going to assume that we have about 400% Magic Find. And we're going to take a look and we're going to see where we could potentially farm for this item. So let's go over to Silo's Pen and let's take a look, shall we? So according to our probability drop chance calculator here, it looks like for non-quest, Diablo in Hell is our best bet at a 1 in a 911 chance. Bale is not bad at 1 in 920, and Mephisto is actually not bad either at 1 in 1075. So pretty good chances there from our Hell boss monsters. Let's take a look at our super uniques, and let's see what kind of probabilities we've got on our super uniques. So Neelathak in Hell is 1 in 7,000. Not exactly a really good chance there, but it's a chance. Let's take a look and see if there's any easy to farm monsters on this list. 1 in 10,000 is not exactly very good. Eldritch the Rectifier, though, is super easy to farm, so there you go. There's 1. Shank the Overseer, super easy to farm. There's 2. Doc Farron, super easy to farm. There is 3. Pindleskin, super easy to farm. There is 4. Thresh Socket, super easy to farm. There's 5. So there you go right there. There's a nice little combination right there. Also, I'm noticing right now that there's some some Act 1 monsters. Cold Crow in Cave Level 1. Not bad. That is actually a really easy to farm monster. You could probably farm her as a really low level Hell difficulty Act 1 character. with ease, I might add. I mean, she's literally in Cold Plains. She's in the cave level 1 in Cold Plains, and you just go into the cave level 1 and kill her. Super easy to farm. Looks like it's pretty much act bosses, though, if you really want a good chance. Speaking of which, I've got like 3 of these Stormshield Monarchs to give away in raffle today for the kinship. I always love the way the sound of the shield was when you clicked on it and stuff. Now, I do feel it's important to talk about one more thing before we end this video, and that is the offset resistances of the shield. Notice that it doesn't really have the greatest resistances, and even if you put an in there, it's still going to be fairly offset in the cold resistance category. It doesn't have any fire, and it doesn't have any poison. So you're kind of in this odd situation with this shield. I always find myself in that whenever I put this shield on, I've always got to balance my resistances around this shield. Which, you know, it's a common thing to do. You will have to balance your resistances around items, especially if you've chosen to wear that item. Like, for instance, my paladin right now is using the Laying of Hands Bramble Mitts, which has the 50% fire res on them. So I usually balance my items around that. Like, I don't wear fire charms. I don't have equipment that has massive amounts of fire resist on it, because I already have a massive amount of fire resistance from the Laying of Hands Bramble Mitts. So just the way the cookie crumbles. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when it is about a very tanky shield, such as the Stormshield Monarch. And as always, thanks for watching, and keep watching.